Hey, board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Gumbo Live. It's episode number 120, Gumbo Live, the number one Facebook Live talk show dedicated to board gaming. Our special guest tonight, we've got Phillip Millman, the three-time champion of Baseball Highlights 2045. For anybody that follows his Facebook page, that's a story he's going to have to explain to you tonight. Board Game Gumbo, a proud member of Punchboard Media. Hey, check out some of our other fine members like Patrick and Eric in the morning. If you like morning shows, those zany zoo-type shows, Patrick and Eric wake you up with game news, opinions, and friendly banner, and you can find it on the What Did You Play This Week feed, Punchboard Media, where we all bring something to the table. Hey, hit us up on social media tonight or on Twitter. He's already making me laugh. Or on Facebook at Board Game Gumbo, and we'll be looking for your questions in the chat tonight. But let's get right to our special guest. He can't hold it. It's Phillip Millman. Phillip Millman, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, BJ. Thank you so lot. And welcome to all of you great fans of BJ's Gumbo board games, or Gumbo, Board Game Gumbo. That's it. Look, I love that little music. It reminds me of the time that I was playing ball down in Morgan City. We had a great time. Of course, we killed the competition, but it was just a great time. So happy to be here. Happy to talk baseball. Happy to talk about whatever you want. Go for it.
Phillip. All right. So, Phillip, welcome back to the show, man. The three-time baseball champion, and you got some explaining to do, Phillip. What does that mean? Because I know of only two championships, and I was there for one of those.
So, with the advent of, unfortunately, the pandemic, which has ruined the opportunity for me to share my baseball prowess in person with other people, I got involved in an online board gaming, a baseball highlights online league, which we're hoping to invite you this year, and hopefully you can make time to play it. And so it sort of became the joke that this was going to be the pandemic version of the World Championship. I started the season 1-4 on an 18-game season. There I am, looking svelte as ever. And
love the shirt. Love the shirt. Our friends from our games. Yeah.
Thank you. Yep, love those guys. And somehow I squeaked by into the playoffs. My first playoff was against Alex Goldsmith, who you can see there at his bachelor party. And he was really excited that I was there and talking about the win, the third World Championship win.
Look how excited everyone is.
They're thrilled. They're thrilled. I don't understand why not. I mean, all my good friends are just so happy.
You know what I love about these pictures, Steve? If you look at Phillip's face, he's got the biggest smile ever, and it's completely oblivious to what I think that's what makes it fun, these pictures. The fact that you're oblivious to everybody else's reaction. Look at Anthony. Look at Anthony's reactions. It's almost, he's the one right above you, Phillip. It's almost like Anthony's like, what is going on here?
I love Sean's reaction, Sean Ramirez's reaction. I mean, that's just awesome. And Jamie's reaction is perfect too. So I love it. I mean, this humor, by the way, comes from I grew up in New York. I'm a huge baseball fan. So Baseball Highlights 2045 does fill a niche for me. And I also think it's a great game. But one of the commercials that I remember growing up to, and you might be, even Jamie's unimpressed, that you might remember, BJ, because we're about the same age, is the.
I think you're like 10 or 20 years older than me.
Yeah, exactly. The old Bob Uecker Miller Lite commercials, right? So, everything would be great in his view, and the whole world thinks he's a flipping moron.
Right. Those are great.
And so that's actually where I modeled this bit after Bob Uecker, whose humor, and he went on to have an acting career. He did Mr. Belvedere. He still does color commentary for the Milwaukee Brewers, which is his hometown. I would love to. Oh yeah, he's still doing it. He's 90 years old and he's still doing it. I would love to meet him and show him the impressiveness that is the Commissioner Ralph Trophy. There's me impressing the fine folks at Broken Token.
Hey, Mark is one of the chat crew. Every once in a while, Mark will check in. So I don't know if he's watching tonight, but there's Mark Rhodes from the Broken Token.
He was thrilled. He was thrilled to have seen it. So and there's my good friends Corey and Glenn.
There's Glenn.
Yep, he just had a baby.
Games and Bourbon, Glenn Flaherty.
Yep. we all live in the same DC metro
Wait,
area.
you guys are playing Captains of Golf.
That's right. So
Oh,
another
nice.
tie into the Morgan City. On that stream, I taught Captains of the Golf by Jason Dinger, and another buddy of mine. So
Hey, it's a live show. We got some people checking in. Patrick Newman, what's up, man? Good to see you. I am drinking Cinco de Bayo from Bayou Teche Brewery right down the road in Arnoldville. And Phillip's got something even wackier than Cinco de Bayo.
So I have a hard water drink from the great country of Georgia. This is called Borjomi.
Is that Atlanta or is that close?
No, it's by Ukraine.
Oh, that Georgia. Okay, got it.
Yeah, that Georgia. It's Borjomi. It's very hard water. It's like drinking from a lead pipe.
Ooh, wow. We've got a special guest in the chat row. Jay Bell, the potion explosion master. Look, Phillip, you're good at board games.
Yes.
Jay is really good at potion explosion. And yet, I don't think he's winning our league, Steve. I think that Alora is just kicking everybody's butt right now. So we'll have to see about that. All right. Phillip, there's like hundreds of these pictures, man.
Yes.
I keep finding them, but I haven't seen any lately. Have you kind of?
Well, the most recent one I believe is actually the one at Alex's party. I prefer these pictures to be with the person, like with Mandy over there, who was gracious enough to listen to my stories. She actually really enjoyed them. I mean, she's just pretending.
You can
here.
tell. Yeah,
you
can totally tell.
And then, of course, my good friend R2D2, he was really happy to hear it. He actually scanned it, which I'm grateful for because my cat broke my trophy, and I was able to use R2D2's scans of my trophy to be able to rebuild it and make it stronger.
I've heard you finally got the trophy back, though. Is that true?
It's true. It's sitting right back here.
I would like to see proof because we have not seen this thing in a long time.
All right. Well, just hold on, guys. I will go get it.
Hey, Nick, while he's doing that, I'm drinking Cinco de Bayo. It is a Mexican-style lager right there from Teche Brewery. So, Nick, next time you're in Louisiana, stop by. Teche Brewery has the Raging Cajun and the Cinco de Bayo, both of them. Excellent. Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Here is the Commissioner Ralph Trophy. It is made with premium trophy components. This is real brass here. That's why these ankles are so weak, because it's so top heavy. And so it turns out it was the cat who tried to blame it on Alex Goldsmith, but I saw through my cat's lies. So there it is. It is repaired. It still has the original engraving.
That is a beautiful trophy. And you got that. There was a reason why you picked that trophy, right?
Yes, there was. We did a Star Search Star Search type of event where we interviewed thousands of trophies, and this is the one that won. No, so I don't know if you know Kathleen Mercury from St. Louis. Wonderful human being, great person all around. So I was talking to her, Alex, a mutual friend of ours, Evan Scussel, and I were talking about doing the big tournament at the last Dice Tower. And when I was talking to Kathleen about it, she says, look, you guys not only have to get umpire shirts, which we have. I'm just wearing my Abbott and Costello All-Stars t-shirt or jersey, which I wore to my first championship. So there you go.
Ding. We should ding Steve every time he mentions championship.
Or drink, and then we'll all be smashed. And she said, because of the artwork, which you can kind of see in this photo here, the artwork is very throwback to pre-World War II baseball, and so I was told that I should get a trophy that is pre-World War II, and it's hard to see it on this monitor, but this trophy is actually from 1938 from some town called Avon Park, and we have found 3 Avon Parks, one in Ohio, one in New Jersey, and one in Florida. We don't know which one this belongs to. We have not been able to trace anything else about it, but I found it on eBay for $12. This was actually the trophy. Yeah, you never forget your first championship. Yeah, ding. That's Steve. That's funny. And so I had bought this to give to whoever the winner was going to be. It just turned out I had a monster set of games, and I just crushed the competition. I made Alex cry again, and there we go.
And you gave it to yourself. Hey, there's Bill Lasik, designer Koi, checking in. Hey, what's up, Bill? And thanks for the tip. I hadn't seen that strange things going on Kickstarter. If you don't know yet, Chris Strain, designer right down the road from Houston, he's got Asking for Troubles coming back with some long-awaited expansion content. Phillip, fans of Asking for Troubles, has been waiting for this expansion for years since it first came out on Kickstarter many years ago. It went to Breaking Games, and I don't know what happened. We just never got to see the expansion content. Chris has it ready, though. Christian's going to be going to Kickstarter next month, so keep an eye. Have you ever played Asking for Troubles?
Nope, never heard of it.
It's a lot lighter than what you play. It's an introductory. You know, when people say, "Oh, I want to learn how to play worker placement," the two games they always mention, it's usually Stone Age or Lords of Waterdeep.
Yeah,
Asking for Troubles is just as good as those, and plays up to 7 people, and plays faster. So it's a great little game. So I'm telling you, Steve, I could literally go through hundreds of these pictures. I mean, if you're gonna have Phillip Millman, isn't 2 times Phillip Millman better? It's like twice as good, right?
yeah. This is an old picture because that should say 3 times world champ now. You know, just
this is your identical brother that you actually got him to wear the same shirt and everything like this with the same pose.
You know, it's amazing. It's not actually a brother; it's a clone.
A clone.
And there's me with your son.
There's Jack. The first, well, no, actually the second baseball champion. Max won the first one, and then Jack won the second one, and then Phillip won the last 2, and no one can do anything about it.
Nah, you can't do nothing about it. I worked hard, I practiced hard, I lost hard, but then I won hard, and that's how you got to do it. You just got to play until you start bleeding.
Okay, give us right here. Here's your chance.
Okay,
give us, if you had to give one solid tip to Baseball Highlights 2045 players. What is it?
Play against Alex Goldsmith, you'll win.
No, what's the secret to the room? Give it to us.
You know, it's actually I'd say there are 2 things. The first thing is it's Moneyball.
Millman.
Millman.
I don't know why that cracked me up.
It's Moneyball, right?
Moneyball.
If you don't have the money, you're not going to be able to last in the later games, right? It's a 7-game series at most. When you're playing just the normal 2-player, there's me with my younger self with some of my buddies from high school.
You're gonna remember. I love this picture. I think this is just fantastic, man.
Yeah, and look, you know, we won. It was fine. There's me. You know, I know Bert over there hasn't shaved in a while, but it was fine.
Wait, which one is Phillip? Which one is Phillip? The one right?
Yeah, that's the. I would never wear purple pants.
And where is Chewy's medal? Because I saw Chewy get a medal.
You know what? I think I took his medal too because I beat him at baseball. There's me with
my favorite by all those Photoshop ones. This is my favorite because there's the babe going, get a load of this guy. Look at this guy. Get a load of this guy.
You know, he actually likes me because Babe is from Baltimore. I happen to live in Maryland, so we're both Marylanders. It's all good.
DJ from Game Gumbo, I've got my guest here, Phillip Millman. We're talking everything Baseball Highlights 2045, but I want to bring in Steve to talk about something that's kind of important, something we talked about before the show, Phillip. If you've been on social media at all the last couple of weeks, you know that around the country, our friends from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast, we're just seeing crazy things happen. Steve, what's going on, man?
Well, first of all, hello, Phillip. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again, Steve.
Good to see you again, too, BJ. We had talked about this maybe using some time on Gumbo tonight to maybe raise some funds for disaster relief. Don't beat the Wookiee.
Let the Wookiee win.
With the hurricane recovery in the Gulf, and people getting hit even harder again now with already softened wet ground, another one coming through the Houston area, the fires in the Pacific Northwest. Friends in the Gateway and Filler game group chat, we're thinking of ways that we could raise some money. And we're going to take a cue from Beth, who was thinking this way too. And I'm going to put up, what we would call, I guess, an NPR or a PBS matching grant. Okay.
Yep.
If you in the chat can hear our voice and can pledge to give something to whatever disaster relief organization of your choice, say you will in the chat. Say, I'm going to give something. And up to $250, I will match each person who donates with a $25 amount. So I'm gonna do a little bit of research and find one that I think is a pretty good disaster relief organization. And hopefully you all chime in and do some of that as well. And we'll be raising some good funds to help people who need to recover from the next horrible thing that 2020 has to throw at us.
There's so much. I mean, right now we're still going through yet another tropical storm
Yes.
passing overhead. It keeps coming in waves. So if I lose internet tonight, you're going to know what's the reason. We got. I mean, to say what 2020 is, all I have to do is tell you that we're in the middle of September and we're at tropical storm beta, and it's only September. We still have 2 months to go.
Yep.
Oh,
and so Verla's chiming in. She's going to be helping us keep track. If we everyone we joked in the green room beforehand, we need a little ding button every time somebody chimes in, a little ding. If we get to 10, that'll be 250 that will kick in.
I'll tell you what, I'll start it off and I'll put in 50.
Oh,
Phillip.
Phillip's
the man. All right. Ding. Ding. Number 1.
I thought I would get 2 dings out of that. I mean, it's twice 25, right?
Ding, ding.
There you go.
2 dings. DJ from More Game Gumbo. I've got my guest here, Phillip Millman. Steve and I are talking some of the spicy hot games we played recently, and one of those games is a game that's not out yet, so I'm kind of hesitant to talk about it, but you can always hit me up on Facebook or Twitter, and I'll get you into it. It's called Mandala Stones. It's by Phillip Glowich, and it's going to be published by Boards and Dice. Boards and Dice, Phillip, you know those from so many great games. In fact, one we're going to be talking about in a little while. They bought out NSKN Games, and they make a lot of the games that I like. Some good, deep Euros. But one of the things that Philippe wanted to do is make a classic Azul style abstract game that just feels timeless. And he looked. He kept working on this design. He kept thinking there's got to be something better out there. And he never could find anything that his friends liked as much as this game he did, Mandala Stone. So I got a chance to play it for the second time. I played a little bit with Eric Bushimi, and I had to leave. So I got Philippe to actually Reiner from Boards and Dice to teach me. And this is the basic layout. Look, if you look at it already, you're thinking this is an abstract game, right? Mm-hmm. What I love about it is that simplicity. Like Azul, there's really not that much going on. It's the depth of the decisions within those couple of markers. David Church said on a podcast recently, and David makes, super heavy games, right? Loves making all these heavy games. But he said, if I ever made a simple game, I'd want it to be one like this, where the decisions are simple. The actions in the game are simple, but there's so many branches of why it's important to take these actions. And that's what Mandala Stone. So you see the stones that are laid out in that center square. But what I want you to look at is those black ones. I forget what they're called. I think travelers. And those black ones determine your actions. When on your turn, the only 2 things you can do is move one of those black towers to one of those colored spaces that you see in between them. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, you get to take all of the stones around it orthogonally that match up to that symbol. There's only 2 symbols, kind of the star one and kind of the moon one. And you take all of those and then you put them on your board, and you can see the player boards around. The trick is that when you move that, it's got to match those that match that symbol. And also, if there's a traveler next to one of these other towers, you can't take that one. Okay, so that's the only thing you can do on your turn. Other than the second part is to score. So when you score on your turn, what you're basically doing, it's not good. Yeah, there we are. So there's those black ones that I told you about, and those little colored rings. That's where you're going to move the traveler. And then you're going to take the stones that are all around it that match those things, and you're going to put them on your player board. That's the score.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, you're going to put it. Let's see if I can get to it here. There's your player board. So you put out the stones one at a time in one of those spaces. You got 5 spaces. Each of them are different scoring. One all the way to the left. When you score, you're looking for the height of the towers. If you have 0, 1, 2, and 3, you're going to score 4 points. The rest of them are looking for how tall is your tower. If on that second one that you can see, if there's only 1 stone there, when you score 4 points. The fourth one, if it's 4 stones high, it's 6 points. Here's the trick, though. Remember, you have 2 actions: moving that traveler and taking the stones, and the second action, scoring. But you only score if the colored stones match. In other words, if you have red on the first, second, and third, but yellow on the fourth and fifth, you're only going to score in the first, second, and third. So what seems like the simple, tiny little game, all of a sudden no, That's also a great game. All of a sudden, it just melts your brain. And as you're trying to move those travelers, you're really trying to maximize your points as you go in.
Mhm.
I absolutely loved Mandala Stones. Everybody I've played with so far says, wow, this game feels like it's been around forever. No, there's no theme, not a thematic Euro. It's just a beautiful abstract that plays simple. It's easy to teach, and it plays within 30 to 60 minutes. So it's going to be in that power hour game. What do you think? Mandala Stone. It's going to be coming out this fall. It's like an Essen type release, but oh man, I'm super excited about it.
I'm definitely, and I love Azul, especially Summer Pavilion. I do like some of this, the abstract games.
Why do you like Azul so much?
Why do I like Azul?
Pavilion's the best one out of the three, by the way.
I'm sorry?
I think Azul Summer Pavilion is the best one out of the three.
100%. Number one is very good. Number three is fantastic. Number two, it was a sequel that never should have been made. But it's just my opinion. I like Azul. I like Azul because of the depth of the decisions. Any game that I play, I want a game that's going to be of interesting decisions. So one of the reasons I like Baseball Highlights 2045 is every series is an interesting set because you have all these unique combination of cards, and how are you going to play them? One of the reasons I like Heavy Euros because I like games with interesting decisions. This looks very interesting, and it's something I know I could get, because of it doesn't have the high time commitment of a lot of Euros that I like to play. This one probably is something I would pick up pretty quickly.
What is the time frame on this, BJ?
He said it was under 60, right?
Under 60? In a teaching game, or would you be down below that after you knew the rhythm of it?
When I played, we would get it, but a two-player game, we'd get it to 30 minutes.
That's what I was wondering.
I don't have the box or anything like that because I'm just going by memory, but that's what I remember. It's going to be one of those 15 to 20 minute per person type games.
Okay.
But it just, since there's only two actions on your turn, it plays super quick. Super quick.
I would like to say, just as a quick aside, Alex Goldsmith is now on the chat. He says he feels like the quality of the show has really gone downhill. There he is. I would like to say that Alex, I want to congratulate you on your nuptials.
Yes.
I'm very happy for you as someone who just celebrated his 30th wedding anniversary, as Steve has just celebrated his 25th, and as BJ has just celebrated his 30th a few months earlier. We're very happy for you, and congratulations. And look, and we understand why you're sitting out this year's online Baseball Highlights 2045 leagues, because basically you don't want to lose to me again in the playoffs. But be that in mind, we wish you the best. And I think this is the best episode BJ has ever done. So just leave it there.
It's in the top one that I've done this week for sure. That's $10 Stones for Board and Dice. Check it out when it comes out. It's an Essen release. If anybody wants to play on Tabletopia, hit me up. I've got a link to it, and I'm happy to teach it. I can teach it. Oh, yeah? Oh, good. We'll do that. We will do that.
Somebody was asking about whether you were playing on TTS or Tabletopia, so that's good that you threw that in.
It's on Tabletopia?
It is on Tabletopia. Super easy, barely any inconvenience. I've got the link, and you can do it on your browser. You don't even have to buy Tabletopia. It's all good.
Cool. I'd like to do that.
Before we move on, we got a couple of people. I think I saw some people also donating.
Bill.
Was that Mr. Sean?
Bill definitely kicked in.
Yeah, Bill did 50.
Sean? Yep.
And Sean did 50. Yep.
It doesn't matter which one. It's the as far as I'm concerned, you do your research and you think what works for you, and that counts.
Thank you, Bill, and thank you,
guys.
Mr. Sean. Thank you, Mr. Sean. That is fantastic, man.
Congrats.
Awesome.
Good job, guys.
Get that checkbook out, Steve. Get that checkbook out. You're gonna have to pay. We got some friends on there. Yeah, Verla. At some point, we'll get you in on that Mandala Stones. We should do it on a Friday night, Verla. Let's get our Friday night crew to do it. I know the colors checking in. And by the way, I talked to Phillip about those colors. The colors are going to be absolutely as close to colorblind friendly as possible. They're working on all the different colors. So you're not going to see your typical primary colors. It's going to be color fit in all of the different ways as best as they can. So that's going to be good. BJ from Game Gumbo, I've got my guest here, Phillip Millman, and we're talking with Steve about some of the spicy hot games recently. Hey, our Gateway and Filler Games group is expanding and broadening our horizons. We've been playing Teotihuacan. Not very well by me, but maybe you can give me some tips. Tell us about your recent plays of Teotihuacan. Is this new play, or you've been playing it for a while?
So I played it a bunch when it first came out, and then recently I played it again. I don't know if you're familiar with Two Board Gamers. They have an Instagram. It's Carlos Martinez and Nancy Fernandez, who also live in the DC area. And so we went over to their house and played Teotihuacan with all the expansions. And I hadn't played with the expansions before. And so it was a lot of fun.
I haven't played the expansions.
Yeah, I thought it added some interesting decisions. So it adds another God board, which allows you to do some things. It gives you some asynchronous powers, and so everybody has a little bit of a different focus, which I thought was great. The scoring, with the exception of Carlos, poor Carlos, was very tight. I did not win. I came in second, which made Carlos very happy. Whenever I don't come in first, sort of like with Alex, he's very, very happy. So
what's he saying? Who's
who's my baseball team? I'm a Mets fan, but this is the Abbott Costello Life.
Blaseball.
What's Blaseball?
I don't know that reference.
I don't know the link.
Yeah, what's Blaseball?
We're gonna have to check that out, man.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Anyway, so I really like the way the dice are the workers. They are workers, but as you use them, they go up in value, and then at one point they die and they ascend to heaven, and then they're reborn as a 1. And so just trying to play, and when you ascend, you get all these special abilities. So I really like games that allow you to chain, bonuses. And so, yes, Nancy and Carlos have a great idea, and they are such awesome people, by the way. I mean, they're just great people. And so I like the way that chaining of actions. That's why I like Lisboa, because you're chaining actions. Vinos, I'm a big Vital Lacerda fan, if you can't tell, or Gallerist, where you're chaining these things, and when you get it just right, you feel just absolutely brilliant, and when you mess up, you feel like a dunder.
Nick wants to know what if you had to pick one expansion, which one would you pick first? That's one so far. Oh, that's the wrong one.
The problem is I don't remember their names. It's the second one that comes in the small box first, and then the bigger boxed one. But I just don't remember the names. I'm sorry.
The only one I remember was late pre-classic period.
Yeah, I think it's
the bigger one.
That's the bigger one. I think it's the one after that, which gives you the asynchronous powers.
Okay.
I happen to really, really like it.
Interesting.
So I've played that a couple times. I played it once with a 2-player with my wife just to remember the rules, and then we played with Nancy and Carlos as a couples game a few weeks ago. And I just it's such a nice game and also the tactile feel of building up the pyramid and playing in the dice. And I'm not rolling dice, which for me is a great thing, because when I roll dice, I lose. I hate that.
So I'm starting. This is now I'm on my third play of it right now, and I'm starting to kind of see a little bit of it. It's as you said, chaining the actions. Verla has also said that trying to get your workers to ascend as quickly as possible is another viable strategy.
Yep.
Because of all the bonuses you get. But I love the fact that when you do something, it's like a lever that's almost making other things click. If you have it set up right, if you have your dice set up right, and that's where I'm always jostling for a position where I'm trying to get my dice close enough to where I can get that 3 dice on the same part and giving you that really strong action. But maybe I'm wasting time doing that.
Well, what I really like is there's a lot of different paths to victory. And no one is going to be a sure win.
Right.
And so, I tried something in this last play where I got a bunch of dice all near, all in the 4 or 5 range, and then they all ascended at once, right? Through this one big play, because I had this little token that allowed me to bump up 2 dice. And it just, I was doing really poor. I wasn't doing well on the points. And then all of a sudden, because I was able to ascend 3 times, I just, stormed the gates, as it were.
Right.
And that was fun. It was very clever. I mean, ultimately, Nancy won because she played better than I did. But it was just a lot of fun, and it made me feel smart, and it just kept me engaged in the game and trying to make sure that when I do stuff, I had enough cocoa to pay for everything that I did.
Right.
I just like games like that where, the more you start chaining stuff together, the more interesting it comes, and it really creates sort of not quite engine building, but it's certainly it requires you to think at least 3 or 4 steps ahead, and I just enjoy that. I just enjoy that type of stuff.
Yeah, you talked about the tactile nature too. The pyramid itself is so much fun to build.
Yes.
But what I also like, and this adds to the replayability, at least the times that I've played, the board has never looked the same.
That's right.
The orientation of the different boards as you play around are always different. So the one game where you think, oh, I've got this, and 3 spaces away is this, and I'm just going to keep hammering that all game. The next time you play, the board looks different. You can't you do that little strategy. That's
right. And we had a particular board set up where, you know, they build the to build the pyramid action was before you got the stones. So you're like,
oh,
ouch.
Cool.
And I was like, Carlos, how did you set that up that way? But it's fine.
There's so much going on in that game where you can be getting points from many different areas that you can't be everywhere, but you have to be careful with where you want to be. We have not seen so far in some of our online plays a way to really make the mask strategy work. Have you found that yet? To get the set collection working in that one?
It depends on what comes out when.
Yeah.
Right. So my very first game of Teotihuacan, the masks just came out when I needed them to, and so before the first epoch, which is the first scoring round. So there's 3 scoring rounds, and they're called epochs, and they come faster and faster. I had 5 different masks.
Wow.
Okay. At the first epoch,
and you get them each time.
And I was able to add on to them, and so I was just that was just. But it was because the masks came out as I was going up the God tracks and a couple other places, and I just like, you know what? It just worked great for me, and I love the fact that you can lock dice to get like special bonuses, and that to me was just a lot of fun.
Right.
I always unlock them, but it costs me so much of that. That the resource. I forget what is it. Cocoa. Yeah.
The cocoa. Yeah.
Cocoa.
So did I leave a lot? Am I making a mistake by just by trying to unlock them?
Well, trying to unlock them. So it depends. It really depends on a couple of things. But I had a special power that it made sense for me to lock them because.
It's 3 cocoa to unlock everybody. So if you've locked lots of them, you can get all of them back for one.
So unlocking one is very inefficient, which is why I did it.
Yeah, so you want to unlock all of them at the same time. That's correct.
Right.
But I had also had a technology that every time I unlocked a die, I got 4 victory points.
Oh.
So that was another thing that I was just kind of rushing through too.
Nick wants to know, what's your favorite Lacerda game, and have you played Mercado yet?
I have. So Mercado's the new game on Kickstarter. Right. I have not played it, but I did back it because I just tend to back it. So my favorite Lacerda game.
Is it Vinos?
Ooh, it's a tough one. So I'll tell you what my top 3 grouping is, because it's really because they I don't have a top, but the 3 that I really love are Vinos, Lisboa, and the Gallerist. I could play those. Say, hey, I want to play. Oh, yep, let's get it out. The ones that I'm not, the one I really don't like is Escape Plan. I thought it just did not do it for me. And I know what he's trying to do there.
That's supposed to be the most thematic out of all of them.
It is the most thematic, and it's the one I don't like. The mechanics just didn't do it as much for me.
Sure.
Kanban is good, but I haven't played it enough to really have a strong opinion on it. And unfortunately, CO2 is on my shelf of opportunity.
Oh no, a Lacerda that you haven't played yet.
Yeah, there's one. It's a cooperative, so I should probably play it and just get it over with. But
I think Nick's right. He meant to ask,
what's your favorite
Lacerda, and why is it Lisboa?
One of the things I really like about Lisboa, by the way, this is something that I also like in games, and is that I love the fact that each card is a piece of history. It's all historically accurate. It's a great gameplay. The artwork by Ian O'Toole is phenomenal.
I love it.
And the buildings and trying to score points. And the only thing that gets a little wonky for me in that game, it's the one criticism I have, is the decree cards. They can be a little bit too much. And I think the new Queens variant, where you basically stop the decree cards, might be an interesting variant. So I'm going to look at that. So one thing I'm not 100% on Lisboa, but the rest of it is phenomenal. And so other games that I like that are also historically based are like PAX Premier 2.0 by Cole Worley.
Sure.
I mean, that's just amazing. That's an amazing game.
I like this one. That's definitely the top one that I've played. BJ from Board Game Gumbo, I've got my guest here, Phillip Millman, and we're talking spicy hot games. One of the games that we've been talking a lot in our little text group is Cascadia. It's out on Kickstarter now, but Steve has got a chance. I haven't yet. Has got a chance. He has gotten a chance to play the solo version. Is that right, Steve?
Yep. Yeah, I have. And I just want to give a little refresh of the message here at the beginning of things. We're about halfway through the show. Since we're talking about Cascadia in the Pacific Northwest, we mentioned at the beginning of things that we're going to be trying to raise some money for relief, for both hurricane relief and the relief from the fires in the Pacific Northwest. So while Cascadia is on our mind and we think about those friends in the Pacific Northwest, I'm asking if anybody would pledge to donate something to a relief organization of their choice. I'll match it. If you pledge to do something, I'll match $25 up to $250. So all you have to do is say in chat, you're going to pledge something and you're costing me money, but putting it to a good cause. So throw that out there again as a little refresh to the message. Cascadia is a fun little puzzle of a game. Now, again, BJ's right. I've only played this solo, and I have seen prototypes of it in person at PAX, but I think there's been a whole lot of development in how it looks since then. It is tile laying. It is tile drafting. And you have to select both. In each round that you're playing, you're selecting, as BJ's showing it up here on the screen, you're selecting a pair of tiles. A tile that you'll place as part of your tableau, as part of the landscape, and an animal that you'll have to then place in that tableau in one of the areas, in one of the areas that it can fit in. And I think they've got things like wetlands and the mountains and the rivers and the forest, etc. Each of them has a particular area where they can go, or perhaps multiple areas. You've got to place both of them in every turn. So you've got to be carefully picking what you can place for land and what you can place for animals. The big scoring comes from the animal award cards. And if you put that up on the next screen there, BJ, that shows you how these animals like to be placed in the wild. So the bears, for example, like to travel in pairs. The bears in pairs, you have to have two of them, and if there's a third bear, you don't get your points for it. So they're traveling in pairs of two. The hawks like to fly alone from above, so they don't want any hawks in tiles surrounding them. The salmon have to create a run. They can't loop back on themselves. They can't connect, but they create a line that can go anywhere. Isn't that clever?
Yeah, super clever, man.
I don't know why the elk want to walk in a straight line, but they do. Apparently, that's the way they score. And the foxes want to have as many different kinds of animals surrounding them as possible. And when you put all of this together at the end of things, there are some ways that you can break the rules of the game, but you're basically trying to lay out a continuous tableau of the landscape. You get points for the biggest contiguous areas of the different 5 landscapes. And you get scoring points for the animals that you lay down in those connections. It's a clever little puzzle of a game. I thought I might get tired of it playing it solo. Every time I stop and think, all right, that's enough. I think maybe one more. See if I can beat it. And even the idea of just trying to beat your high score rather than playing against somebody else, I know that's like kissing your sister for some folks. This is an appealing game. It's theme-ish. I would call it theme adjacent. But it's good. It's good. And I would look forward to getting it on the table in real life.
I like that there's some thematics with Cascadia. We've talked about Cascadia a couple of times leading into the show, but one of the reasons I wanted to bring this up, and Phillip, I think companies are doing this more. One of the ways to get excitement on a Kickstarter, or even to get people to look at your game, is to get people to understand the mechanics and see how much fun they are, right? I mean, one way, of course, is to put Beth Sobel's name on it or Ian O'Toole's name on it, and you're going to get people checking and clicking your Kickstarter. Right. They may not back it. They may want to take a look at the mechanics. And this gives you a chance for free to play a little quick solo game. Hey, as Steve mentioned, they don't have all the cards. They just have 5 basic cards, right? And you're just competing against yourself. Although I've heard people are playing against their spouse or friends at the same time, and so making it sort of into a game. But it gives you just a little taste of the game. And maybe now I've been fortunate enough to actually play the game a couple of times. I love Cascadia. I absolutely recommend it for anybody that likes puzzly little 1 hour, type of abstract type games. This game is gorgeous. It's from the same company flat out that put Calico. And if you've seen any of the pictures out there, Phillip, about Calico, it's every bit as beautiful and as puzzly, and it's got some depth to it that doesn't appear from a game about making cats try to
Yep.
fall in love with quilts. I mean, because that's the elevator pitch. You're trying to get cats fall in love with quilts, and it seems like that would be a really simple game, but it's not. And Cascadia, I think Steve, you'd agree, has that depth every time you get your action.
You have the ability to break the rules a little bit when you need to, if you've collected the right kinds of tokens or laid the right tiles. But even that is thinky at the point where do I need to break the rules? Where do I need that salmon to go? We got to get a hawk right here. It's clever. I posted the link in the chat there. You can see they've got both the link to the rule book and a way to play the starter game there. It's again, BJ's right. It's the same starter tiles each time, but it's a different draft of tiles each time, and you'll get the flavor of it and know whether you want the game or not.
Have you played either one of them, Cascadia or Calico, Phillip?
I have not. Tile laying games are not usually my thing, but it does look very, very interesting. So I'm going to check it out. And quite frankly, at a $29 price point on Kickstarter, that's a game I can play 2 or 3 times. And if I don't play it again, I've hit my price point, per hour type of thing. So I'm going to definitely check it out.
Phillip's more about laying the smack down than laying tiles. But
the real question is, does it have a trophy?
It does not have a trophy. Hey, for $29, you get a beautiful game and a lot of it, especially if you get the Kickstarter, because Flat Out always throws in extra promo cards, and you're going to like that. So take a look at that one if you get a chance.
We'll put the link to that in there too.
That's good.
Yeah, I actually have it saved. I actually have that game saved as something I was looking at to see whether I wanted to back it. So
chance, try the solo and see what you think, Phillip.
I absolutely.
See if you can beat Steve in his score.
What's your score, Steve?
Best one right now is 93.
93. All right.
And of course, Jay just posted 95. I think that
Really,
still has
Dave?
him.
Really, Dave? Too soon. Too soon.
Never too soon, Dave. Thank you, Guardian Angel.
All right. Game Gumbo, I've got my guest here, Steve and Phillip Millman. Phillip Millman, the 3-time Baseball Highlights 2045 champion. And the last game I want to talk about is we're going from Teotihuacan, but now we're going to talk about a tiny little 18-card game designed by Elizabeth Hargrave. A game I've played, a game Steve's played, and a game you played.
Yeah, Mussy Tussy is a little game, plays in about 15 minutes. And it's just so clever. It's also got art by Beth Sobel, so there's the tie-in. And it's ridiculously fun for a little game that it is. Basically, the theme, and this is a theme that's tacked on at best. It's basically as you're getting 4 cards in a hand, and the main mechanic here, whoever has the most victory points wins after three rounds. But the main mechanic is the person takes up 2 cards, looks at them, turns one over to show the person who's going to choose which card they're going to take. So they could either take the card that they see, or say, all right, I think that card's not as good, I'm going to take the other card. And then you have to lay out the cards, whatever one you chose, into basically each card has to go to the right. And then at the end, each card will tell you how you're scoring points. And some of them have conditions, and cards with hearts score 1 point. And it is just a lot of fun. It's a perfect little game if you want to take it to when you can go back to restaurants, or if you're in an area where you can go to restaurants.
Right.
Have you been listening to Abby and Alex's conversations? Because she says they were just talking about Tussie Mussy. Abby works for the feds. He may be listening.
It's that he's in Alex's head. That's what it is.
No, Abby and Alex.
By the way,
ignore the black vans outside your apartment.
This is a good opportunity too, Phillip. We haven't seen that trophy in a long time, and since Alex is in the chat, maybe you could show us the trophy. Yeah,
sure.
Let me just pull out a little bit. There you go. It's the beautiful trophy. And don't let its small size diminish how great this trophy is. As I said, it's made with premium trophy components, brass on the top. It's 100% metal. It's really good. But
weren't you also saying, Phillip, that watching it on the screen was as close as he was going to get to it?
We weren't going to say that. We weren't going to say that.
Phillip, I really think that you should put it in its place of honor back on top of the
shelf.
Sure,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm putting it next
Go
to
whole screen.
Yeah, and I'm going to put it next to the picture of my wedding, 30 years plus 1 week. So, two greatest events in my life, right? Not even the birth of my kids, getting married and winning this trophy.
Beating Alex, getting married. Oh, tough one. And Alex, look at that jersey he wore just for you. It says, "Who won? Who won?" Indeed, we all know who won. Phillip Millman. And baseball highlights 24/85 champion. We were talking about Tussie Mussy, nowhere near
Baseball highlights. But I will say, I picked it up just as I'll be honest. The reason I picked it up was, like many local game stores, the one that I really like to go to is, struggling. I go to Labyrinth in DC. It's a phenomenal board game store. If you're ever in the DC area, please go to Labyrinth. The great selection, great people, great staff that really know their games. And so I was going there to pick up a game that I had pre-ordered, and my wife saw, oh, this looks interesting. I said, all right, for $12 or whatever it is, I'll pick it up. And it turned out to be a real winner. It's just this interesting decision of which card do I show you so that I can get the card I really want.
Board gamers always talk about something. We always talk about, we want that game that has the I split you choose mechanic, right? And we always say there's not a lot of them that have it. Here's one that has I split you choose, yet you don't have perfect information.
Yeah.
You're trying to choose between two cards, and then that's where the poker gets into it. That little mind game. And how she did that in only 18 cards, I don't know. Right. And one of the things we aren't talking about is it's not just about cards. Each of the cards not only has heart points, but they also have special powers. And that's where is my opponent trying to psych me into taking this card that is really going to be bad for me, So yeah. Oh, look, Nick says he's been to Labyrinth Games. Says amazing store. Nick, where have you not been? You went to Singapore last week, and this week he's in DC. Man.
Well, he said he used to live 4 blocks away, which is an interesting neighborhood that has really changed for the better. Look, yeah, it was an interesting neighborhood.
Yeah, here's some of those cards we're talking about. Marigold with 2 points, but you have to discard one of your other cards, right?
Yep. Yep. And what's really kind of cool about it is, evidently, and I didn't know this, but in the 1800s, bouquets, each flower had a specific message to it. And so those cards, if you took a look at the bottom, they say what that message for that particular flower is. And I think and it really ties into the special ability of that card. So it's really clever. And so it's actually a little bit more themey than you'd actually think it is.
Yeah, we kind of know about it today. We know that red roses are for love and white roses are for friendship, but we've kind of lost all these other, is it Victorian, I think,
Victorian,
right?
Yeah, Victorian, yeah.
Victorian area of things. And
The
it was
flower
so
language.
cool. It was so cool that, that Elizabeth saw this and talked about it. And the funny thing is, if you Google Tussie Mussy, you better put board game in there, because if you don't, I didn't realize there are hundreds of websites dedicated to Tussie Mussy.
I did make that mistake. I did make that mistake. It's not like other search mistakes I've made, but I did make that one.
Well, if you want to know what Steve and I really think, I know it's a family friendly show. If you want to know what Steve and I think about it.
Wait. If it's family friendly, why am I on it?
So Steve and I did a little conversational talk about I don't know if you even remember that, Steve. I didn't remember until I was Googling it, looking for pictures. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh, the conversational review?
Yeah, the little conversational review.
I remember that one.
That's where that's what I'm posting here with the pictures. They didn't work on Facebook tonight, so I had to go to the actual thing. And there's Verla. She says, check it out. Button Shy Games.
Yep. And it comes in a very small packet. You can slip it into a wallet or into a suit jacket pocket, which is what when I was wearing suits.
I've only played 2 Button Shy games, but I'm curious, chat crew, Phillip, Steve, and maybe even Verla, if she's played any of them. What are the top Button Shy games? Alex says that he and Abby have been doing. Hello, Verla. What's up?
Hey, Verla.
Hey, Verla.
Uh-oh.
We have her
muted. Now. Hello, Verla.
Hey, friends.
There she is.
Yeah.
How's it going?
We're talking
well.
Button Shy games. Do you have a favorite Button Shy game?
I haven't played a whole lot. Circle the Wagons, and that's only been once quite a while ago, and then Tussie Mussy, which is beautiful.
Phillip?
Well, since I've only played Tussie Mussy, I would have to say Tussie Mussy.
Sprawlopolis. Sprawlopolis.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard about that. That
It
sounds
is
good.
such a good. It's cards as tiles, but you're laying out a city in front of you and scoring based on the landscape you create and connecting with roads. Brilliant game to do.
Is
in
it
18
kind of like?
cards.
Is it like Tramways Light?
Super small, but the way they do it is kind of similar to the way they do in Circle the Wagons. Some of the cards you don't play as cards. Some of them determine the scoring.
Oh, I
So
see.
you turn up 3 cards that are scoring for that game. And that dictates how you have to build your city because you're trying to create it so that certain things are together or longest roads or all kinds. It's a brilliant game packed into 18 cards that I just don't know how they get it in there.
I need to try that
Bill
one.
agrees. He says Sprawlopolis is smartly designed.
All right, I'm going to have to look at that because I really like Tussie Mussy.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Jean said Kelly said you could play Tussie Mussy and Circle the Wagons on Happy Meeples. I had no idea.
Interesting.
Mm.
Interesting.
I may have to check that out. How would that work? I've always wanted to try Sprawlopolis and Circle the Wagons. I've only played Super Tall and Tussie Mussy, and I like Tussie Mussy better. So, and look, it's inside my game bag. You carry it around everywhere you go, right?
Yeah,
Super easy.
I carry that. I carry Arboretum, and if I'm really in the mood, I might carry Isle of Trains.
BJ from Game Gumbo, I've got my guests here, Phillip, Millman, and Berlin. Steve and I are talking about a topic that is near and dear to all of our hearts, especially me, because Gumbo headquarters, Maison de Gumbo, is moving, so I'm going to have to get rid of some games. The dreaded culling of the collection, Phillip, and you have some experience with that, right?
Not as much as my wife says I should.
All right, Chaku, talk about the agony, but the necessity for most of us, unless your name is Mr. Sean, of getting rid, because Sean apparently does not get rid of games. He just keeps building bigger and bigger houses. But,
yeah, I have a buddy, Simon. So one of the things that I do in the board gaming world, outside of being a board game champion,
3-time, yes.
3-time, is I'm also an admin to one of the largest board game groups in Facebook called the Board Game Group, which is, you can see that there. And it's a very good group. I'm one of the moderators, but one of the other moderators of it is Simon Muncy, who he basically lives in one house and has another house where he keeps all his games. So I keep saying that he'll never ever get it. But look, there's so much space, and I think one of the things that I had to come to terms with is that as a gamer, my taste changed over time.
Mm-hmm.
So I started out, Ogre, which it was a callback to the game I played commuting into high school in the early 1980s.
An economic efficiency game?
Well, no, it was Ogre. It was the Steve Jackson game. Which,
an actual game. I thought
an
you were
actual Ogre.
Trying to get
No.
Okay.
No. But there was a buddy of mine who it took us an hour and a half to get to high school because we commuted to this Science and Math.
I thought that was the game.
Yeah, well, sometimes it was. Sometimes it was. Yeah, sometimes it absolutely was. If you've ever heard the game Mornington Crescent, it was kind of like that, except the New York version. That's a real callback that nobody's going to get.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Anyway, so we would play Ogre, and then when I got back into board gaming, it was Ogre, it was Zombicide, it was a silly little game, How to Serve Man, which is sort of a worker placement resource game where you're cooking humans, which is always a good thing. And then as I got more and more into gaming, I started playing games like Lewis and Clark. I started playing games like Shakespeare, which have a lot more meat to them. And then I heard about some of these heavier games. At first, I was like, 18xx, who the hell would want to play a railroad game? And then I found myself playing, Lisboa, Gallerist, 1830, Age of Steam, Yokohama, which isn't that heavy, but and then all these really heavy games are not there yet. But then I have all these older games that I'm not going to play anymore. So I sold my entire Zombicide collection to people who live in the neighborhood at a discount. They're games that I also know that I'll never see that they'll never hit the table. So one game that I personally like a lot, but I don't know how I'm going to get it to the table, is An Infamous Traffic by Cole Worley. Now, the theme of the game is not a pleasant one. You are playing a British drug lord trying to push opium into China. Okay? I mean, that's the theme. And it's historically accurate. It's and it's meant to cause some of these conversations, but it's a really, really good game. And right now I could sell it at a pretty good clip because it's out of print and there are people who still want it. I really love the game, but I know it's not going to get to the table. So do I make that culling decision?
Are you a collector or a game player? That's the question.
See, the thing is, I'm probably both, and that's. But I
think one of the first things you have to decide is space. Steve and I always talk about, Steve, where you live.
Yeah.
You have a defined space, and that's the amount of board games. So people in the chat crew, they probably, for some of them, they've got a dedicated board gaming space, and at that point, it's one in, one out, right?
Right.
So like I just got rid of but I've also been getting better at getting rid of games quicker. So for instance, I happen to love Scythe. I happen to love Viticulture. I love those two Jamie Stegmaier games. And so I went and I got Tapestry and played it twice. I'm like, this is not for me. And I sold it. Well, actually, I traded it for something I was looking for, but just, I got rid of that. I recently got rid of, my entire Android Netrunner series because I'm never going to play that again. And I got rid of a whole and a couple of smaller games for 1889 because I really want to play 1889. Again, I'm becoming a huge train nerd.
Philip's bringing up a good point. So Oscar Valero, the Valero boys, if you ever seen him on Facebook, Oscar's a huge trader. If you're on the board game trading, you've seen Oscar's post. And what I like about Oscar that I just don't do well is he gets the games, plays them, and doesn't fall in love with them. He gets rid of them. He sells them whenever they're top dollar, like Aquatica, it was super hot and he sold it to me, right? Now, if I tried to sell it, it wouldn't be worth as much. So that there's almost an art to not falling in love with board games if you're going to want to cycle through as many of the hotness as you can. And that's not for everybody,
Right.
No.
I mean, look, I get it. There's price and demand. I mean, having had a career in Wall Street, I understand those dynamics. But you can't always time those markets correctly. And then sometimes you take a bath and you have to be willing to take that bath to make the big numbers. But but what I will do is, what I'm starting to do is after I've played a game 2 or 3 times, I'll know pretty quickly to get rid of it. And so once you've made the decision to sell it, the next question, and this is to Nicholas's question on the chat, what's the best way to sell games? And that's a tough one.
Give me your best tip. What's your best tip? How do you get rid of your games?
So I'll give you the hierarchy of how I like to do it. And number one, you can't
Chris says bury yourself in board games. And Chris, you're not late, by the way. We talked about asking for troubles. We reminded everybody it's coming out. So.
We did.
So what's the hierarchy?
What the best way to do it is if there's any local sales, so in the Washington D.C. areas, there's the Congress of Gamers and they put on an event, a 2-day event every quarter. And so what they'll do is for $5, you can put your games there, and then you have prices, and people can either buy them or not, and that way you don't have to worry about shipping, and it's very simple, and that's the easiest.
Yes.
In COVID-19 pandemic times, you can't do that. So what I do is there's a couple ways I sell it. First is the board game group also has a group dedicated to selling board games. That's pretty active. So the TBG buy, sell, and trade. Right. That's first. The second I'll do is I'm in a bunch of Slack groups. I will post, hey, I got these games. Anybody want? And then when that doesn't work, I try to do it through BGG, either through an auction or now BGG. They can't really enforce it, but basically they want 3% for each of the sales, and that helps to keep their servers running. And that's, I'm happy to see that. And that's totally fine. The real issue is the shipping. I mean, shipping is very expensive unless you're like BJ and you run a multi-million-dollar company and you have certain deals with UPS or FedEx or something.
Sure. That is not happening. Steve, you're active in the trading game, right?
I am, and Phillip's right. Higher ed is where all the money's at. Yeah. So I am not.
As the son of a professor, I know.
I am completely concerned with shipping because I will probably end up trading more than I sell. because I know that the money is going to go right back into a game anyway, most likely. The truth of the matter, if I'm going to be honest with you. And I think being honest with yourself is an important part of what Phillip's talking about here. Am I going to play this game again? If not, have I grown out of it? Could somebody else enjoy this game like I used to enjoy this game? If so, it's got a new home someplace, and it should move there.
And the other thing, this is something I try to stress, and one of the things that I really find funny is like, oh, well, I'm not getting the value for the game. No, you've already gotten the value in the game.
Yes.
So, for instance, Zombicide, right? And I had all the original stuff, and I have the miniatures that are Labyrinth does, but they're not doing it this year. And they also do it on a Saturday, which is a problem for me. But and I had, miniatures that are, that there's huge demand for, like $50 for the little miniatures for specific ones. And I sold my entire set first of all, they were people in my community. They live less than a mile from my house. I've been to their house. And I knew their kids would love it, but I've also played that game probably close to 50 to 60 hours.
Right.
So, if you put a value on your game playing, like $10 an hour, or how much is it to go see a movie? $8 an hour, right? Because a 2-hour movie costs you $16 to $20. I've already gotten my value. And so I'm getting some money back, sure.
Right.
But for me, it's not and this is for me, and maybe it's different for other people, but for me, it's, if I've already reached the value for that game, whatever I sell just helps me get value in another game. And that's why I actually am very clear. It's not a shelf of shame if you haven't played a game. It's a shelf of opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to learn something, to play it, to see if you like it. And if you don't like it, that's great. Sell it and move on.
Yeah.
Dylan says thinking that games want to be played keeps his collection small. That's a point that you just mentioned, Steve. Maybe somebody else has that. What about you, Berla? Can you let go of your games? Are you there yet?
I can, and I have been. I actually just was texting with my brother this morning asking if he wanted a copy of the game that he was like, I thought you loved that game. Why are you getting rid of it? I was like, well, I know you like it. And for me, it just doesn't spark joy. Like, there's so many other things I'd rather be playing.
Yeah.
And I've also gotten smart, and I've got a friend that is totally on top of all the hotness and buys everything. Got a couple friends like that, actually. So I wait, and they want someone to play with anyways, so I play it with them and then decide if I need to own it or not myself. And that's kept my collection manageable.
You can always pawn it off on your mom. I mean, you just mentioned a game.
Well, that works too.
She gets excited.
I wish my mom played board games.
You still have access to it if it goes onto Kelly's.
Chris,
exactly.
Yeah.
Chris is not a seller. Hey, I'm like Nick. I actually have been, for 6 months, I was piling up all these games that I love. Imperial Settlers. Oh my God, I love that game. I just don't play it anymore because Empires of the North came out. So, hey, sorry, Phillip.
No. Empires of the Imperial Settlers, I got rid of as soon as I got 51st State because I like 50. Because I just think it's a better game.
I don't like the communal deck, and I don't like the theme at all. I'm not a Mad Max guy, but love the Imperial Settlers theme. Man.
Well, I own an Australian cattle dog, which is a Mad Max dog, and so therefore I love it.
What I was saying is that I was getting this nice pile of games on my shelf at my office, ready to go to SOBO, our Southern Board Game Fest. We were going to have a big garage day sale through Anubis, our local sponsor, our local game store. They're going to get a little bit of money, but I'm happy with that because it's a big place for me to sell my games, right? And then COVID came, and now I'm stuck with this big shelf of games that I've been promising my wife we're not coming back to the house. Yeah. So now what do I do? They got to stay in the office.
Yeah. I like the way Phillip said it, though, is if you feel like you've already gotten value, the thing that I find that people have problems with when they're traders is thinking that they have to win a trade. And when you have somebody like that who thinks, well, I know what this is worth, and I have to either get equal or fleece the other person, you're in trouble when you think of it that way.
First of all, I'm a former trader. Okay.
So never trade with somebody who plays fantasy football or fantasy baseball, because then they're going to always want, or somebody that thinks it's a used car deal, and I've got to beat the other person.
Yeah.
Right?
See, the thing that most people don't care. Okay, so this is where my mind always comes in, and this is going to be a little technical, so I apologize. I used to trade in, and I used to be involved in the capital markets of fixed income, which are bonds, right? And what do bonds put off every depending on the bond, either every month or every 6 months? Interest, right?
Oh, I thought it was gin and
tonics. No, my friend, we drink the best stuff. Tequila. No.
Shaken, not stirred.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget the
no,
name
no,
of
no,
the
no,
drink.
not James
Vodka
Bond.
martini.
Mortgage-backed securities,
Martini,
corporate
that's it.
bonds, sovereign bonds, whatever.
Right.
But one of the things that you get as you own these bonds is interest.
Mhm.
If you think of board games as like bonds, you've already been paid
They've
as
paid
you
their
play
dividends.
as you
They've
played
paid.
them. So
Yes.
the value proposition becomes very different. And if I'm never going to play a game again, like Zombie Sides,
Hmm.
I agree with you, Sean, by the way. I've already earned the interest that I want on it. And when I sell it, even though I'm selling it at a significant discount, which, and from what I'm seeing in, you can, when you go to BGG, there's the BGG market, so you can see where things sold in different conditions and different currencies. I've already received the benefit.
Yes.
And so if I spent, perfect example, Tapestry, right? I spent $80 for Tapestry because I pre-ordered it through Stonemaier. I played it twice. I instantly realized it was not a game for me because of various things that I don't like about it. And then I said, all right, well, I've spent $80. I've played it now.
Mick, why are you doing that?
Why
are you doing that, Mick?
Yeah, sorry, Mick.
The trophy came out, and so did the shirt.
Yeah, I was even wearing your shirt, Mick.
Just
like
Phillip
and I both wear green, so does Starla. We were looking at it.
I think Phillip should show off that trophy one more time. Don't you think?
All right,
yes,
but
bring
just
it
very
out.
quickly.
Oh, twist his arm.
Yeah, twist my arm. But very quickly, I played Tapestry twice. That's about 4 hours worth of play. I played it with a variety of people. I had a good time with the people that I was playing with, even though I didn't particularly like the game. I've already got my $80 worth. So when I've traded it, I'm not, so I traded it for about $50. But let me get the trophy, because that's the important thing.
Please, we haven't seen it in minutes.
Yeah, so somebody mentioned Johnny Pack. Hey, Johnny, what's up? Johnny Pack mentioned Board Game Company. Alex, Steve, you and I have traded with Alex many times. And every time I think, oh, man, I'm giving up all these games, and I'm only getting 3 or 4 of these games. And you always tell me, but are you still having joy? And then when I get that package of those 3 or 4 games that I've been wanting to play for months and months and months,
right?
And I've given up games that I wasn't even playing at all,
right?
All of a sudden, I'm happy again.
And when you can do that, when you can do that as a big deal, though, too, BJ, you can maximize the shipping and get assistance for someone who is shipping a lot. You're really turning it over at a cost to you that is not that bad, and getting back something you want. That's a win.
So let's give him the solo. Phillip Millman got to show off that trophy. Here you go, Mick. Take a look. Look at this. Dave said, how can you pick that thing up? It's all 100% heavy metal, man.
You know what? Training. Lots and lots of training. There's some real guns here. Even though it looks like fat, there's some real guns here.
Welcome to the gun show. That's right. That's right. 3-time baseball champion Mick. He's here. He's got his trophy. And that is awesome. Mick, you missed it. We actually had a picture of Phillip in an Our Family Plays Games t-shirt.
And I'm still waiting for Mick and Starla to invite me to their show. I mean, clearly, the Nebraska my Nebraska colleagues really should enjoy some of the wonderful stories that I tell about winning this trophy 3 times.
I'm sure we're going to get some pictures of that. All right. Now, Phillip, this is a board game show.
Yes.
And you're supposed to be good at board games. We're going to find out tonight how good you are. Can you beat the chat crew tonight? So Steve,
if it's area control, I lose.
Steve's cooked up something we like to call jambalaya.
I think I'm going to need my reading glasses for these, right?
Is it Berla's jambalaya now? Is that what the deal was with Jeremy?
Not over.
It's all Berla's gumbo. We just playing it.
All right, so another episode of Verla's Jambalaya is starting. Steve, tell Phillip how the game is played. I'm going to
All right, so the setup for this is basically a verbal mashup here. We've done a little bit of digging into the history and the deep, dark history of Phillip Millman.
You promised not to talk about Tijuana.
We agreed that we were going to hold that off. That'll be, afterwards in the green room, we'll hear the war stories. But we've dug in and created some little clues for you for things that are going to be mashups of things that you've done before, or games that you like, or things from your history, and put it together with board games as much as possible. We'll give you the clue. You got to try to puzzle out what the mashup is. And we'll give you an example to see what it's like. But the chat crew is going to be racing you, Chris. Yeah, Jambalaya, you've been missing it, my man. It's back. The chat crew is going to try to beat you to figure out what the answer would be. Cool.
All right.
And we'll keep track of it in. I'll keep track of it in the. BJ, you want to read and I'll keep track.
I've got it right here. Yep.
Cool. I'll keep track in the doc, and you can read them all.
Yep. All right. Sounds good. So let's give you a sample one so that you can kind of see a pretty easy one to do. One that Steve came up with. If I gave you a clue of explore, expand, exploit, exterminate, and Phillip's BGG handle, what would that be?
Would be X's. Would be 4 X's.
4X Wall Street guy. That's right. There's
4X Wall Street guy.
4X X Wall Street guy. You mash them together. So it's gonna be kind of.
Oh, I have to do the mashing myself.
You have to do the mashing up.
Oh no.
Yep.
Some of them are true mashups. Some of them are kind of puns, but we'll see how they do.
I'm a math guy. I don't know if I can speak this English language too good.
All right, now, Phil, do you understand the rules to jambalaya?
Yes, I understand that.
Are you as good at Hank Williams was at jambalaya? Well, let's find out. All right, so Hank Williams
Senior.
Hank Williams Sr., by the way, yes. All right,
Senior.
so are we ready?
We're ready.
A famous English explorer who circumnavigated the world looking for the Seinfeld-approved dessert, either the junior or the big boy. What are we talking about, chat crew? Can you take Phillip down there? Bertler, you've already seen these?
Yep, I'm keeping my mouth shut here.
All right.
I'm thinking it's like a Francis Drake cheesecake.
Oh, it's on the right track. Can the chat steal it?
He's so close. Keep going, Phillip.
Francis, you said juniors, right?
Not juniors, but it was a Seinfeld episode with a guy in a coma, and they were talking about this particular dessert that you can buy in the grocery stores in New York.
Oh,
it's so good.
see, I've never watched Seinfeld.
Oh no!
Hey,
I went with the New York
Yorker?
connection and figured you had to have it.
No, I didn't watch it.
Okay.
You're the first New Yorker I've ever met that hasn't watched it. Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know Magello. What is Magello? Is that the green stuff you get at the hospital when you're sick?
That's Yo
Sounds
Jello.
like it.
Oh,
You
that's
can't
your
have my
fault.
Jello. That's Yo Jello.
There it is. Chris Strain says
Francis.
Drake coffee cakes.
Oh, Francis
Coffee
coffee
cake.
cake. Okay.
Yeah. Give that
All
one to
right.
Christian.
Christian.
Yeah, I was
All right.
really close, but I was thinking
Yeah.
cheesecake.
You were right there, but I
so
think
close.
you led him most of the way.
Mm,
Yeah. All right, so let's go to another one. This will give you an easy one, Phil. We're going to kind of go high-low on this one. Ready?
That's fine. That's sort of my life story.
Phillip's local convention and the best trading game in the Mediterranean.
Say that again.
Phillip's local convention and what BJ and Steve say.
Washington Concordia.
There
you
it
go.
is. Washington Concordia. That's right.
You definitely beat the chat on that one.
Oh, did he? Did he beat it? Yeah.
Oh, he definitely did.
Because
Chat,
there's
I
no way
haven't
they
seen
would
it in
know
chat
about
yet.
Washington.
Phillip's
There we go.
watching. Steve and Verla are watching to the chat. So when I'm looking, the chat is way behind. So I don't always know where they went. Okay, that's a good one.
That's Phillip, tied up 1-1.
Mhm.
All right. So ready? The scoundrels of Skullport know that you will get corruption if you choose the wrong kind of pizza. Oh my God, Steve, he posts about this all the time. All the time. It's like half
Deep
of the
dish skulls. Deep dish skulls.
No,
You're on the right track.
no.
But the scoundrels of Skullport is the clue there.
I know it's
Yeah,
Lords of
Washington,
Waterdeep, but
Chris.
it's Lords of
Mash it up.
Deep Dish.
Lords of Water Deep Dish. You got
Lords
it.
of Lords of
Got
Waterdeep.
it.
Nice.
Big
Deep
Apple,
di-
baby.
Now,
not
now,
the-
I would like to point out that deep dish I do enjoy, but it's not pizza. It's a bread casserole.
Yeah, Nick was close.
Nick was right there.
Did he get it before Phillip? Or?
I
I
think,
don't think
again,
so.
I
I think he was right on his heels.
Yeah, it was right on
Okay.
my.
it was
Mm.
close.
It was like 30 seconds behind. Sorry, Nick.
Phillip, most people think that Space Oddity is David Bowie's big astronaut song, but they always forget about this one, about a game designed by Vital Lacerda. They always forget about this one. Our old buddy David Bowie. David Bowie. Nice shoot.
Right. Oh,
Come on, chat crew. This is your chance.
He's struggling.
oh.
He's
Because there's so
struggling.
many good David Bowie songs.
Tough
Yeah.
for Phillip because David Bowie is like 10 years after him or 20
Well,
years
no,
after.
there were so many David Bowies. You just have to not be Ziggy Stardust. You might have to be the Thin White Duke for this one.
Oh, I can't think of the name of the song.
Okay, go with Vital Lacerda. I always try to give hints, Steven. You got to go
There
with
you
Vital
go.
Lacerda on this
We
one.
need Alex to sing too.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, hey, so Alex is watching, and he said, he thinks that, yeah. Are you guys watching the Facebook, or are you watching the?
I'm watching public chat.
So
Yeah,
am I.
yeah, don't watch the public chat. You got to watch it on
Okay,
Facebook
I'll get over to the Facebook one.
Okay, thanks, Phillip.
because public chat will be with me, and it's going to be with.
If it's a dispute, I'll make that one a tie.
Yeah, Alex.
Okay.
Oh,
We're gonna give. I think Nick gets that one.
You think Nick? Okay, put it to
that's
Nick.
fine.
That close, and there's a delay. I think Nick gets it. So
I cannot think of
I think
the.
we're gonna have to call this because the chat crew's not coming up with it.
Yeah,
Take a
I'm
look
blanking.
at the lawman beating up the wrong guy.
Steve, what is it?
Life on Mars.
Life.
Oh, wow! You know, I'd forgotten about that song.
It's a
Yeah.
good song.
Good song.
Such a good song.
No,
Oh, you know what I forgot about? You know what, when you're talking about favorite list, I really like the one play I had of On Mars. I really enjoyed, but I haven't played it again. So, and I also think at 4 players it drags on too long. So I want to try it at 2 or 3 players. Anyway, sorry.
Leave that one. No,
All right.
I'm giving Steve that one. Yeah,
Give me that one. I wrote it. You can't give it to me.
No one got it, so you get that one. Okay. Have you heard?
All right.
Have you ever heard a game called Baseball Highlights 2045, Phillip?
Maybe.
Alex Goldsmith keeps trying to push but Baseball Highlights 2045 Boulder up the Phillip Millman Hill, and it just keeps rolling back down on him. In Greek mythology, Alex would be
Sisyphus.
Mm-hmm.
he would be Philip's something and rival. What would that be?
Oh, arch nemesis and rival.
So put it together.
Arch Sisyphus? Arch Sisyphus.
Nemesis.
Arch nemesis.
He got it.
I didn't hear it. I didn't hear it.
I heard him say it.
Arch Sisyphus.
No,
Hard to say.
you're
Arch
close.
nemesis
It's the
Sisyphus.
Arch Nemesis.
Not arch nemesis.
Am I saying it right? That's hard to say.
It is hard to say. Sisyphus is such an
It's not
interesting
supposed to
character.
be easy. I'm
What
supposed
were
to
you
make you
impressed?
work
At least
for
I
it.
knew immediately who the Greek guy was. I also find it interesting that the Greeks' greatest punishment was work without meaning.
Meaning,
Mhm.
yeah. Interesting. Deep thoughts from Phillip Millman. BJ from Board Game Gumbo. We're playing Jambalaya, and we've got our next clue here. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Carl Chudik's multi-use game has an interesting theme, but the new one that he's got is all about the wonders of lathering up before a hot shave.
Gl- glory to shaving cream.
No.
Glory to
Oh,
soap.
now you see, when you start saying it, the chat crew is going to pick up on what you're putting down.
Keep giving it.
Yeah, but the problem is I'm an extrovert, so I if I'm not talking, I'm not thinking.
Poor Mandy. Mandy talked out her answers every time, and she would always get it, but the chat
That's right.
would listen to her, and they
They
would.
would poach.
It's
Oh, Mr.
lathering-
Sean.
Oh, Sean
Oh,
stole
glory to foam. Oh, that's good, Sean. That's
There you
good.
got it.
That's
Glory.
good.
Nicely done, Mr. Sean.
Very good. I would have gotten there maybe.
All right, that was one from me. Now we've got one from Alex, so you really need to pay attention to this one,
Oh God.
and hopefully I'm saying it right. Simeon Varlamov.
Varlamov.
He doesn't give up goals very easily, so I'm assuming he's a winger. But he's not out there alone. The same kind of cooperation you need to keep from drowning in this classic co-op. So let me read that one again. Semyon Varlamov doesn't give up goals easily, but he's not out there alone. The same kind of cooperation you need.
Oh, Spirit Islanders.
That's
That'll
a
work.
one,
That'll work.
but it's not the answer. It's not the answer.
Are you kidding? That's a classic
but
co-op.
He's got the right idea for that one.
But the same kind of cooperation you need to keep from drowning in this classic co-op. There's your hints, Phillip. Drowning.
Okay, Forbidden Islanders.
There he goes. There he
Nice.
goes. I didn't see somebody else poach that one. Did you see it, Berla?
I haven't seen it. No.
I think.
No, but I like
he,
Spirit Islanders better.
you got the idea.
Alex,
I don't
I
have my Islanders shirt. I don't have my Islanders mask with me. Oops.
I hate to say this, but Alex, Phillip beat you again. Spirit Island is better.
We'll add it to the list.
Just add it.
It's just
All
a growing list.
We got another one from Alex here. It's a
Okay.
showdown. One Chinese restaurant cook against a specialized piece of equipment. One will walk off a winner in this culinary competition. What is the game? That is a tough one, Alex. That is really mean. That's a tough one.
Well, I know what the game is, but I'm trying to think of it's Mega Chopstick. It's Dexterity Mega Chopstick 3000 by Mayday Games. But I'm trying to think. Can you read the report again? Can you read it again?
It's a showdown. One Chinese restaurant cook against a specialized piece of equipment. One will walk off a winner in this culinary competition. Okay, Alex, I read it again, and I see where you're going. He's got all these little hidden clues in there. Okay. It's a showdown. One Chinese restaurant cook against a specialized piece of equipment. One will walk off a winner in this culinary competition. Oh my God. That's a lot of hints there, Alex.
But you have to read them, not hear them. One will
walk. I heard the walk.
Walk off.
Chinese.
Walk off a winner in this culinary. I'm not saying walk. I'm saying walk.
WALK.
Yep.
You did.
You did.
I think he's stuck. I don't think he's got it. Check.
I don't think so.
Anybody? Check room. Because
everybody thinks there's only one baseball game.
Well, I think they're hearing walk and they're thinking walk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alex, I think this is where you threw him off because the walk sounds like walk. No, it's like a walk off in a particular sport, and
which
it's
is a
one
baseball
versus one baseball. The walk off comes at the bottom of the ninth of the rice. Bottom of the
rice. Oh, yeah. Bottom of the ninth is such a game I got rid of so quickly.
That is a great game. Oh,
I didn't enjoy it.
Walk Star
Baseball. I like that one. I think that's a better one. Because you know what? Walk Star by Fowers Games. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good
one too. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, back to me here. Ready? I love Elizabeth Hargrave's new bite-sized I Split You Choose game. But this new one that she's got is based on the old NBC lineup of classic sitcoms on Thursdays. So it's an I Split You Choose game, but based on the old NBC lineup of classic sitcoms.
Oh, must-see TV.
He's got it. Put the whole name of the game in there.
Oh, must-see TV. Tussy must-see TV.
Yeah.
I always get the names reversed on Mussy Tussy or Tussy Mussy. It's like I can remember.
You got that one. That was a good one. Yep. All right, here we go. Hey, has that convention in Philly been canceled yet? Because I really wanted to play a stripped down version of Cole Worley's best area dominance game about Afghanistan.
PAX Premiere Unplugged or PAX Unplugged Premiere.
Told you you'd like that one.
I do, because we talked about PAX Unplugged.
Alex said Bottom of the Ninth is a better app than a game on the table. You know, Alex, I see your point there because it is a Philly game. The one thing I don't like about Bottom of the Ninth, and I've thrown that mechanic out, which is a variant inside the rules. I don't do the speed rolling. I just don't like it. It takes fun out of the game. I don't like the speed rolling. So, all right.
Really? Did you see evidence on that one that Mr. Sean got in there first?
I did not.
The previous one for Tussy Must See TV.
Tussy Must See.
Alex said,
I don't see it.
Yeah, because we're in delay. It's hard for us to tell.
Yeah, I don't. Did PAX Unplugged actually can't get canceled? Because I don't know if it did or not.
But I think Philadelphia is not allowing anything, so I don't know how they're.
Yeah.
Sean did say Tussy Must See.
It's must see TV though. It really is must see TV. That was the tagline.
I'm gonna give it to Phillip on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Phillip on this one. He had the right one.
The ump makes the final call.
Hey, Phillip.
Yes.
Our buddy Jason Dinger. He can design a game about any theme, but I think he's trying to stretch it with this new one he's got. It's an economic game about pilots in the private jet sector. I don't see how he's going to pull that off.
Oh, captains of the Gulf Stream.
Yes, he's got it.
Quick. He was quick.
There was not much doubt about that.
So first of all, Captains of the Gulf, great game, and I've taught it for Board Games and Bourbon. And then secondly, I used to work on Wall Street, and most of the clowns had, at least shares in Gulf Streams.
Yes.
There's no way the chat crew got that one. So
that was too fast.
They did not.
Definitely I'm not as dumb as I look.
People have missed the jambalaya here, BJ. We might have to, invest in the effort to make one of these games each time.
Oh, you bring
I would love to be part of that, making up some of these.
Oh, hey,
Please.
really, the reason is that we're lazy. That's why we don't take it often. We're going to crowdsource
That's right.
this thing. Phillip, did you know that you got a dog?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I did.
It's got a new job though.
Oh,
Stomping Cabernet Sauvignon with his big paws in this modern worker placement classic.
say that again, please.
Phillip's dog has a new job. It's stomping Cabernet Sauvignon with its big paws in this modern worker placement classic. Steve, I love that clue. That's just fan. That's good work.
That's good.
Australian.
Alex, I hesitate to read this one because I have friends over there, but you're right.
Wait. Australian.
They are experts at publishing games that are better as apps. Sentinels of the Multiverse. I mean, I don't play that game, but everybody I know says it's an amazing app.
Yes.
Okay.
Patrick, it's coming. It's coming. It's probably the next Spielworks Kickstarter that's coming out. So you'll see it.
Yeah, they're now talking September or October for the Kickstarter, is what I heard from Jason.
So Nick is close.
Nick is on the right track.
Nick is close, but he doesn't
But
have
does he know
Australian viticulture dog.
Does he know his dog's name?
Oh, well, he's Vinny. He's
Mash it up.
Viniculture.
It's viniculture.
Viniculture.
Sometimes they're really stupid. It's just
Viniculture. I'm like, wait, Australian cattle dog, blue heeler, viniculture, cute.
All right, that's kind of inside baseball. Sorry, Nick.
Yep.
That would be tough. You'd have to really follow Phillip on, and he's not really. He doesn't really post on Facebook much. All right.
Never.
All right, here we go. You ready?
At least that's not posting politics.
We only have 3 left, chat crew, and it's close. I think Phillip's got you guys tonight, but it's close. We got 3. We always thought that baseball originated in the 1830s, but there's new evidence that shows that Beantown had a farm team in the Caribbean as far back as the 17th century. Did you know that, Phillip?
Did you not?
But that's not why I'm telling you the story. In this Alexander Pfister game, you actually managed the team.
I
don't want to
He's learning. He's not saying the name out loud. He started and caught himself.
Markai Baseball?
Man, should I read that clue again?
I think you might need to read the clue again.
He missed it. We always thought that baseball originated in the 1830s. Alexander Cartwright heard the whole story. But there's new evidence showing that Beantown had a farm team in the Caribbean. And Alexander Pfister's game, you manage the team. Wow. I think we've stumped him. Chat crew, he mentioned a game name, though.
He did. And BJ hit the city.
For the win.
Yeah, Sean's
got it.
Yeah, Sean's got it.
Yoko Sox to Maracaibo
Sox. Right, because you said Beantown, right?
I was close. Maracaibo 18X.
That'd be funny.
Apparently, you can add XX to almost anything.
Exactly. At least it's not triple X.
2 left. Let's stick with that Pfister theme.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this one's a reach here. I'm not sure if we'll see if this one's coming.
Port Royals. That's funny, Alex.
Pfister's multi-use card game is being redone with art by a cartoonist who Phillip might know if he read Dragon magazine in the 1980s. I know I did. Others may know him from Girl Genius. I don't know that reference, but I mean, everybody
I know who the artist is. I've actually met him.
Oh, good.
Twice.
Oh, cool.
See, okay. Didn't know that.
So now you just need the game.
Yeah. So say the clue again.
Pfister's multi-use card game is being redone with art by a cartoonist who Phillip might know from Dragon magazine.
Trying to remember which one Pfister.
Rewrite. Pfister's multi-use card game is being redone with art by a cartoonist who Phillip has met. That'll help the chat crew.
Not at all.
Chris says he still needs to play.
Great Western Folio?
No.
Close.
Multi-use card game being redone with art by a cartoonist.
It may be a Pfister game that I don't know.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, okay. It's a deck of cards, basically.
Yeah. I probably don't know it.
Chat crew, chance to steal.
He's given you the name. You got the name.
The chat crew family, it's your chance to steal.
At least I had the
Survey
artist.
says-
Right. At least I had the
You
artist.
do
right.
have the artist right. The artist is Phil Folio.
Mhm.
All right.
He's actually taller than I would expect it to be, but he spent a lot of time in Chicago with a girlfriend of his.
Mick is
was-
on the right track there.
So close. Mick, you're
Oh my folios.
Flip them, reverse it.
Folios. Oh my.
You'll have to say it, Steve.
Folio my goods.
Oh, folio my goods. Yeah, I've never played Oh My Goods.
That's the
Goods.
one.
All right.
All
All right,
right.
last chance. Last
I
chance.
think
How we
this is
doing?
a solid finish. I like this one. This is a solid finish.
Oh man, it's pretty close. Steve, total it up.
I'll do a little bit of math.
All right, here we go.
Matt,
Good.
what's that?
Oh man, look at that. Sean Jones is right there.
Folio
Sean
my
was right.
goods.
Patrick Newman, you didn't read Dragon magazine in the 80s? Oh man, it's such good, funny cartoons.
Oh,
All right.
there were some really funny ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, cards on the Magic. Don't forget.
Yeah,
Phil
he has some of those too. Yeah.
some of the early Magic cards, like the torture
Oh,
cards. I can't
you know what? I think I have some of his comic art, some of his graphic novels with me. Phil Buck Godot. Just throwing that out there.
Here we go. Last one. The Good Doctor's recent family card game about correctly punctuating a list of 3 or more items. And that's it. That's all we're giving you.
Say that one more time, please.
The Good
He's leaning in.
Doctor's
He likes it. He doesn't know it, but he likes it.
The
Good
Good
Doctor.
Doctor.
recent family card game about correctly punctuating a list of 3 or more items.
Code
What?
who? Code who?
I didn't know this.
That's
Chris's
interesting.
brother did art for Dragon Magazine.
Code who?
No.
Good Doctor.
Good Doctor. Who do we know as the Good Doctor? Besides
Who?
Dr. Gumbo.
Doctor Who?
Designer.
The Good Doctor's recent family card game about correctly punctuating a list of 3 or more items. You know what? I don't even know if Phil plays this. Phil plays this level of game. That's the problem.
I mean,
Probably
the only
not.
doctor that I know that's a board game designer is Peter Hawes, who did
One more
Francis Drake.
famous Peter Hawes.
A very prolific doctor.
Maybe a hint would be a bow tie wearing doctor.
Well, I was thinking Doctor Who, but who wears bow ties?
True.
Or one of the doctors did. Doctors who wear
Wow, the
bow
checker
ties.
was strangely silent.
Sean knows the game, but he doesn't want to
Doctor.
say it out
All right.
loud.
All right, Sean. About correctly punctuating a list of 3 or more items. There's your clue. What do we got?
Johnny Pack.
Yes, Johnny Pack.
Johnny, who's
Johnny
Johnny?
Pack says
Johnny Pack got the
Oxford
answer.
Llama.
It's the Oxford Llama.
It's the Oxford Llama.
oh,
It's finally coming to him. Yeah.
I
Phillip,
play
you-
llama. I like llama. It's a
So
cute
that's-
game.
Philip, you look like somebody other than you looking at your trophy.
Hey, I'm going to screenshot that. I am going to screenshot that. Yep. The Oxford Llama.
Well
That's
played,
right.
Johnny Pack.
That's very good. That's
Oh, I
very
was
good.
wondering why you spelled it that way. Yeah, Oxford Llama. That's
Yeah,
right.
Oxford
So
llama. That's very
Dr.
good.
Reiner Knizia, the good doctor, the bow tie.
I didn't
wearing
realize
doctor.
Reiner Knizia was a doctor.
Yeah. He's actually a
Mathematician,
PhD.
right?
Because Peter Hawes, the designer of Francis Drake, is an actual physician.
no, he's a PhD
Oh,
doctor.
gotcha.
So
Well-
I was thinking medical doctor, not PhD
Mhm.
doctor. Even though
Man,
my
we have-
father's a PhD doctor, so that shows
All
you how
right.
screwed up I am.
Steve, give us the wrap up.
I think Philip does end up taking it at the end of things. So he is both the 3-time champion of baseball highlights and the 1-time running jambalaya champion.
And let me tell you, it's all about hard work. You got to work hard, you got to play hard, and even if it causes you to bleed a little bit, you keep playing.
You know, if we don't play this game for a while, he's going to be the continuing champion of jambalaya, of Berlin jambalaya. I'm sorry. So, hey, that's your Game Time presented by Game Toppers LLC. Philip, make your game nights a showstopper when you play on a Game Topper.
I actually now have a table downstairs in my family room after the massive amount of construction that we did in our house. And I am seriously thinking about hitting up Berkey for one of the, I think, what are they, the Mycrofts, the ones that are 4x6?
Yeah, so he donated a Mycroft to our Southern Board Game Fest. He's a big supporter supporter of the New Hope Foundation, which the Southern Board Game Fest runs. And I'm telling you, that Mycroft table is fantastic. If you want to see it, you can go to some of our live streams from last year's con.
No, I've seen these tables. I know how great they are. And Berkey's such a great guy.
They're amazing. Now, the 2.0s have the new cup holders. I'm not a fan of the first version 1.0. They were beautiful. They were little gold metal things, but they're noisy and they clink around and everything. The new ones are phenomenal looking. I may have to do that. So yeah, as Nick says, do it. Go with a game topper. And Nick and I meet at BGG. You know, they have a ton of the games.
Yeah.
The game topper.
So. Look, I go to BGG every year, except this year.
Yeah.
Except this year. We'll see you next year at that.
All right, board gamers.
Do one refresh on the message, BJ?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So we started at the beginning of the show. We mentioned in the middle. We have been across the country dealing with natural disasters of all kinds of sorts. Good friends down in the Gulf. Hello, BJ. Dealing with aftermath of hurricanes and tropical storms. Good friends in the Pacific Northwest. Hello, Verla. Dealing with fires and wildfires and smoke and loss of property and fear. What we thought we would do at the beginning of this here is put out that people in the chat, if you could say you would pledge something to a disaster relief charity of your own choice. We're just going to count up the number of people who say, yes, I'm in, I'll pledge. And I'll match you $25 for each person who pledges up to $250 to a donation charity of my choice for disaster relief as well.
Thank you, Phillip, for being a donator.
And Phillip kicked it off and get us started. Well, I'll keep checking the comments afterwards for people to get there because I don't think we're there yet. But you can, partner with some money and put it in somebody's pocket. It'll do some good.
Yep. Thank you, Steve, for taking the lead on that. That is fantastic. Yeah. It's needed down here on the Gulf Coast. It's needed out on the West Coast. It's needed in the Midwest with those insane storms that they just went through.
Sure.
And now I hear there's a hurricane on its way to Canada. Is that right?
Canada.
How about that?
Yeah, there's Hurricane Teddy on its way. You guys up in the Northeast are going to see a little bit of it as it's there. Hurricane Teddy. So, what a year for storms. So, all right, board gamers, that's it for another episode of Gumbo Live. I want to thank my guest Phillip Millman for coming in. Hey, Phillip,
my pleasure.
If people want tips on how to beat Alex Goldsmith at baseball highlight recording.
Well,
how do they get in touch with you?
Well, first of all, I can be reached on Twitter at @BoardGameRabbi. Surprise, surprise, I'm Jewish. Sure. Secondly, I can be found on Instagram at @BoardGameRabbi. And then I don't remember what my Facebook handle is, but if you sign up to the board game group, which is the largest board game group on Facebook, I'm one of the admins there. Mm-hmm. Just put in my name, 2 L's in Phillip, and you'll find me. And you'll see a whole bunch of annoying pictures of me in the baseball trophy.
As we said, Phillip, you can't spell rabbi without RBI.
Exactly. And that's how you win baseball games. Getting them home.
Yeah, Phillip, we really want to thank you for coming in. And Berla and Steve, I'm going to send you two down, send everybody down in the green room, and I'm going to close it out. I'm BJ from Board Game Gumbo. Make sure to like our Facebook page, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo. Helps us get the word out about all of our upcoming shows, including next week, everybody. We've got Monique and Naveen from Before You Play. If you haven't seen their gameplay
Good
videos,
stuff.
They are some of my favorite out there. They're just such a chill couple. So it's going to be fun to have them back on the show for a full show. They just came in for a little pop-in, so it'll be nice. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to drop everybody down so I can close out the show.
Bye, friends.
So long.
Adios. Shalom.
Yeah, Phillip, that was awesome, man. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. And I am BJ from Board Game Gumbo. And until next time, Phillip, laissez le bon temps rouler.
Take care, y'all.